Now on 4, an extra programme for those who like it hot. A Tube Special brings you a blast from a brand new power station.
So let's turn up the heat till we fry. Some like it hot, some like it hot. Some like it hot, some like it hot.
We want to multiply. Are you going to do it?
I've done it.
I know you
Done it.
qualify.
I've done it. Have you done it?
Don't be so circumscribed. Jewish line,
No, that was...
Just get yourself untied, yeah, now. Are you gonna do it? Yes, let's get out of here.
Like it's hot and some sweat when the heat is on. Some like it hot, some like it hot.
We're ending up producing the videos in the same way as we produce the sound on the record, really, which is just sort of letting it grow and build, and with a sort of rough outline. It's in individuals in individual situations. It's all pretty surreal. I mean, I like things that are nice to look at.
Have you done anything apart from that drum thing yet? You did yesterday.
Yeah, I did some shot with some snare drum in my Ray-Bans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Reflected.
Yeah, reflected my Ray-Bans.
Oh, yeah. It's rough when you're doing it, isn't it? Because you can't see what they can see.
Yeah.
And so it's difficult to feed back with it.
Yeah. And plus to keep my head still for that length of time.
Then again, there's the girl, the real live girl, who's a 6-foot, wonderful 6-foot Amazon, and she's quite a daunting prospect for any man, I think. As it happens, me and Robert have both got the same perverse eye, and Andy as well, the same sort of eye for a bit of, shall I say, artistic smut.
Everybody quiet and play back.
Tula, the tall girl, she's actually 7 feet tall with her shoes and her hair. Right, I'm 5'6", and she's 7 feet. So, but anyway, she was sitting in a chair. I was going to give her a shave.
At no time are you really going to think there's a group. It's just 4 people making the noise who are also tied up in erotic situations, which, let's face it, is a pretty ideal situation.
You sort of came along, you were filming really at the end of what's been going on for quite some time, in fact, off and on over the past 9 months.
This project's probably taken about 3 years, sort of nurturing in my mind, dating back to the first time I met Robert Palmer. and which was about 3 years ago. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's one of those kind of things that musicians always, when they meet at 3 o'clock in the morning, they say, hey man, we really must get together and work sometime, you know, we must jam together.
We didn't have a vocalist. That's something that was the farthest thing from our mind. We didn't have a vocalist. Had a rhythm section and no vocalist. Had a producer, no vocalist. So I think John mentioned Robert Palmer, and at that time I just it didn't register to me, Robert Palmer, because I mean I dug his stuff, but I said, for this project, I said, wow, I don't know. And it just came in and knocked it out, and it was just great. It's perfect for this project.
Then we had 5 or 6 tracks down, and we sent them off to Robert and said, Robert, could you write some words and tunes for these? You know, we've got some ideas, but we thought we'd get a professional singer to do it.
It's an unknown band, and it's also an unknown sound. The thing is, it's unknown as far as the name, but everyone involved, you know, have had quite a few hits. I mean, between Duran and Cheek and Robert, there's been a few records on the charts. So the way we try to sound, it's like a trio, basically. It's Andy, John, and Tony, the foundation of the band, with Robert's vocals.
Top again, please.
There are so many different ways of putting a song down on tape, and I don't think any of them are better than the other.
Post, cards, tele. Right so far. Drop me a line. Be my grapevine. Always trying to reach you. Can't get through. Communication. Our communication depends on me and you. Got to stay in touch even though we're remote shorthand. Keep your lines open, say what's new.
It builds as it goes, you know, like putting paint on a canvas. But it's a lot more organic than it sounds, because obviously that particular process people have been using a lot recently with synthesizers and drum machines. But we're all in this unit a bit bored with that. It's not organic enough. It doesn't have personality, you know.
So you ready? Let's go.
Communication depends on me and you. You got to stay in touch even though you're on the move. Keep your lines open, say what's new. Don't hang off. Keep in touch. Don't put me on hold.
It's just got so many things, influences in it, and yet it doesn't sound like anything else. You know? I mean, we're still adjusting to it because we didn't really know what sort of monster we'd got until we started listening back to the speakers and going, oh, wow, this is really something.
I love it. It reminds me some of the way Jimi Hendrix and Billy Cox used to be, where it's just a funky line going along, you know, for a long time, and Jimmy just got a chance to go. And I think these guys have that real tight feeling, that unity together. It was fun to watch them do it.
We didn't know quite what a monster we were creating, you know. And I'm personally pleased because the sound that the Power Station has, I think, is the album Duran never made, really. Robert I've been a fan of since, you know, Sneaking Sully Through the Alley. And then on to, you know, Johnny and Mary, Looking for Clues. And in between that, things like Best of Both Worlds and Every Kind of People. And I mean, equally so, well, more so, was working with Bernard. Bernard was, I never picked up a bass guitar before I heard Good Times. I always wanted to be a guitarist, because lead guitarists get more girls. Everybody knows that. And so I didn't even pick up a bass until I heard Good Times by Chic. And so that record kind of changed my life in a way. And so obviously playing bass in front of Bernard, feeling totally inadequate, you know, knowing what, I mean, the guy is still you know, a dynamo. I mean, I can suck my cheekbones in better than he can, but boy, when it comes to playing in the studio.
That was what I picked up on when I met him, that he didn't want to be thought of as a teeny bopper all his life. He knew 10 years from now when the cute blonde hair is gone and all of that, you got to play, you know? So we talk about that as a joke, but I told him, I said, if we're going to do a record together, I want you to play your best. I want to feel that way. If we got together, if we get nothing else out of this, we had a good time and we learned a few things, and that's the way I went at him. So it wasn't bad. He knew what I was doing. I made him prove himself, and he could do it, and he delivered some really good stuff.
This guy's winded like the did performances. And to do the same thing, I'm tired.
It's a long day. What I think we should do, forget it, bang and go.
Just to do the middle.
Yeah, I suggest we should sit down.
Just talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do that.
He can pull things out of players that they didn't suspect they had, and he does it with humor. And it's just a delight to work for him because he's a red-hot player himself. So his point of view is you're really trying to keep up with him, you know.
Get the hell out of here.
Kind, John.
Hey, we love you. All right, let's do this funky break. Ready, Jason?
Yeah.
That will work.
Yeah, the two, when the two come in, it's really nice.
Sounds great. It's hot, though.
When he first walked in, he started introducing me to people as his father.
He hates me now because I introduce him to people as dad. I said, this is my dad, Bernard, you know. Hey, are you kidding or not? With that color? You know, you're joking. He's just very, very funny. He's very natural. He brought a lot out of me.
John was, I think more nervous than I was. But we had talked about this project for such a long time that it just had to work. So we just came down, just eye contact, and we just laid down the groove. And it's the first time ever playing with him. And him playing with me. It worked out great. It was like we played and we'd done records before.
It's an old T-Rex song called Get It On, which was the first song we did when we actually all got together. We just sort of toyed around with that for a few hours, and it got the whole process moving, and it caught the first excitement of the guys working together as well. So it's quite a sort of wired version of Get It On, if you like. You know, it's like as if you've had 10 cups of coffee. It's a really faster.
We were walking down to the studio, and we looked up at the front of the studio where we're recording. And I looked at John and I says, "It is a power station," which it is. You know, it's a converted power station. And we just said, power station, that's it. So that was that. It just stuck.
Let's go.
Tony Thompson is, they say people look like their dogs, don't they? He is like, most drummers are like they play their drums. He's very, very tight drummer. You can't really miss his sort of backbeat and that. He's, that regiments you to play when you're doing rhythm. And he's an idiot. But an adorable idiot.
He's like an orchestrator when he plays. He's not a percussionist or anything. And he plays so powerfully, you know, volume-wise. It's like, you know, it makes you jump up in the air every time he hits the beat.
With Chic, I had bosses, so to speak. I was real young when I joined them, and I learned a lot from Niall and Bernard. And at the time when I joined Chic, didn't know how to make records, how to lock in the pocket. I had a lot of chops, but didn't know where to place them, so to speak. And Niall and Bernard have really, like, schooled me on, really, don't worry about the fancy stuff. The most important thing is just laying the groove down.
No, I don't record in the big room with headphones on. I record in the control room where the big speakers are. And because our engineer is clever enough, we can turn it up really loud without the guitar feeding back while you're playing. And it's great because it's like playing live. You get a much better atmosphere because you're with the producer, you know, and so there's a reaction and you don't get too lost. So it's very lonely when you're out in the studio floor on your own just playing. And there's a big piece of glass, and you can see all these people talking behind it. You don't know what they're saying about you. You don't know if they're going, oh, God, listen to what he's doing tonight. He's really not playing very well. Or if they're going, oh, it sounds great. So you can always feel too removed from the people that you're working with. So I like getting in, and we all sort of blow our ears out together. Oh, the Duran group, I mean, like, I think our biggest strength is our friendship. I mean, they're still my 4 best friends in the business, or in life. But Andy sort of like sees me as his only ally in the war against not having guitar solos. To become a credited musician, I think, takes time. When we began our careers at this level, well, I was 19 when we did the first album. Nick, I think, was 17 or 18. No one's going to respect anybody at that age. I don't really give a damn whether people take me seriously as a musician or not. I mean, I've taken myself more seriously as a musician. I think the idea of I mean, I've never thought of myself as a musician really before this project. I've always been far more into the idea of being an entertainer, you know. An entertainer encompasses being able to go on Johnny Carson or Tic-Tac-Toe or I don't know, just be able to perform on stage, on video, whatever. A musician for me was always somebody who, all of those things weren't important. I've always been it's always been more important to me the colour of the trousers that I was wearing rather than, I'll never know what amplifiers I'm using on stage, you know, never. I don't give a damn, you know, as long as it sounds okay. I don't want to know about what make it is. I can't do interviews for musician magazines. You know, I know what strings I use because I get them for nothing, but I do know what shirts I'm wearing, you know.
There's no free rides here, you know. Andy and John are real hot right now. We all can just jump on board and say, yeah, I made a record with these guys, and, you know, here it is. But no one wanted to do that. We wanted to be different from Duran, completely.
You don't realize how much you miss them, I suppose, really. It's for different reasons, everybody for different reasons, and you find yourself in situations, and it's like, I think, oh, I can just imagine what Simon would be saying now, something like, you know. But I think it was quite refreshing at first, because we had been together a hell of a long time, and you know, I mean, you know, once we get back to, once we're together, we're together. You know, I mean, we're very much like that. We just click. It doesn't really take us a long time to get to know each other. As I talk, the video is coming together. So, I mean, again, she'll have to try and explain it in the full when it's finished, I suppose.